What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Nonsense live stream. It's Yaga. How we all doing? Started like 15 minutes early just because my allergies are fucked up, but I'm not a pussy, so I'm still gonna do this live stream. How we all doing? Today's topic, as you can tell from the title of this, is the root of all evil. Well, what's the root of all evil, Matt? It's money, of course. No, it's not money. It's the love of money. We're going to dive into it. We're going to rip it apart. It's going to be fun. Make sure you got your caffeine hats on. A little coffee. Whew. God. Fucking. Oh, that's weird. So, yes. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money itself. And yeah, I've been guilty of this in my life too, where I was just obsessed with getting more money for this, more money for that. Do I even have enough money? I remember when I took that job as a car salesman and I left a pretty good job where I was moving up. You know, I left as a sales supervisor, had good benefits, all this stuff. And, you know, I took the job being a car salesman because, again, money. And the whole time there, I was anticipating like what I was going to do with the money as I got it. You know, I was like, if I have this much money, I can afford that. And if I could get this much money, I can do this and this and that. Like I was like trying to plan out every single fucking aspect of my life, and it was ridiculous. And I was just obsessing. And then you know, you sell a couple cars, and you know, one week you're doing really good. You sell a car, there's $1,000, and you're like, holy shit, you know, for a couple hours of work. But you know, it stretches out over time. I just loved it. I thought, like, man, if I ever won the lottery and I have millions of dollars, the things I do. You know, when you have money, it really just solves your money problems, you know? And if you become money your sole purpose to achieve something, then I don't know, you don't have a soul. And you're already lost. Because when you like a prime example that I wrote down here is that I'm going to talk about would be, you know, a very obvious example is Ebenezer Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. Okay. Ebenezer Scrooge, a lonely man. All he gave a shit about was his money, how he can get it, how he can hoard every penny or tuppence, whatever they had, guineas, whatever. And so all he focused on was money. And what you find out from a story like A Christmas Carol about Scrooge is the fact that he wasn't always that way. He wasn't always this miserable miser. The dude, when you read it and go back into it, you know, he was actually a pretty generous, kind-natured fella. You know, he fell in love, but he chose to follow that path of money over love. Though, I bet if he followed the path of love, the money would have came eventually, you know. But he focused more on that, to be a status, to have material wealth. And for that, he lost everything worthwhile in this world for most of his life up until the end, when, you know, he pretty much realized he's going to die miserable and just completely alone, and no one gave a shit until he realized, like, you know, the moral of it is to have the joy of Christmas. And he realizes, like, you know, there's a lot more to life than just hoarding pennies. And at the end of the day, he just decides to be kind, generous, and interact with people, actually give a shit about what other people are going through, empathy, sympathy. There's so many underlying tones in the story of Scrooge that I don't know if people don't realize, but they're there. They're there. And I just went over a bunch of them. But Scrooge's love of money was what fucked him for most of his life. And since he chose that path, it left him isolated, alienated, alone. Nobody liked him because he wasn't likable at all, because he was a dick. He was a bit honest, but crude, you know? You can give one thing about Scrooge is from that story, he was definitely honest, but in a dark, crude, morbid way. That's why he's a miserable miser. He's very miserable. And that life is miserable. And even from my own experience, when I made money my sole purpose, I knew it was it's over. It's over before it even starts. And you get, you know, oh well, Matt, no, Matt, you gotta think about your career and your life, and you have to have money. I'm like, yeah, you do. You need money, but you don't have to love it. If you love money, that is the root of evil. Having money itself is not evil. There's a difference. Explain the difference, Matt. Okay, I will. Money allows you to acquire stuff and things, right? We all got to live, right? Keep a roof over your head, the electricity on, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't exist. It exists, but it doesn't. It's not real. It's just numbers in a computer system at this point. Physical money is just paper. I can wipe my ass with it. It's paper. That's what it is. But those numbers and dollars and zeros that add up in your bank account allow you to exchange it for goods, services, and anything else, houses, whatever. That's the point. Now, if you have that, you can get said goods, services for life. And if you try to live in a modest means, you don't need as much money as you think. Because if you suck with money, you're probably going to spend more, even if you got it. If you suck with $1,000 a month, you're going to suck with $5,000 a month. You're just going to increase your spending habit because you're going to start buying nonsense that you don't need and that you wanted it, but you don't really need it. When you step back and look from like your own perspective, you don't need as much as you think. This is where minimalists make sense to me because they make a good point. You don't need all this clutter in your house, but yet I like a few things for character, which I've talked about. But when you focus on the love of money, like, I just want to make a ton of money. I want it to be everything I'm about. I love it. I don't care about anything else. That is evil. And those people pretty much, without a better way to put it, sold their soul to get there. And they don't have one to redeem. And if you do that, it's, I think, almost impossible to get back, but not virtually impossible because again, the story of A Christmas Carol, Scrooge redeems himself and spends the rest of his life redeeming himself. So there is a redemption quality to that. But it really is the love of it, the love of money. And I've been there too. I've been so fucking broke where I've sold stuff so I can get a pint of vodka. I've also had an abundance of money to where I didn't have to worry about anything and I could go do whatever I wanted. So I've been on the scales, man. I understand what it's like to have zero, nothing, plus owe a bunch of money. There's nothing great about being in debt. Debt is just a modern day invisible chain of slavery. And people like to tell me, well, you want a house and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but you're in debt. You didn't, unless you paid for it in cash, you owe on that. That is an invisible chain of money that you're attached to that you have to pay for no matter how hard you work. And you have to pay for it because if you don't get it. But it gives you, see, it's like a weird kind of almost trickery in a way, like incentivized to get to this point so you have it. So you have to work really hard for it, right? But that's why most people focus on money and where their next check's going to go because they're too goddamn focused on dollars rather than actually just having that money to do something that they actually want to do with it, and not everybody's like this. This is, it's a generalization, I guess. But, you get some money, you say you want to go on a vacation or you're saving it to buy something you want to do. Like maybe you like photography and you're saving up that money to buy that camera because your hobby is you want to take pictures. You want to do, videos or photo editing, and that's just fun for you and whatever. So what do? You take the money to invest in something that you like to do, that you love to do. And that's okay in spending that money that way to acquire those things that will enhance your world, Like when I started YouTube, I bought a brand new computer. I bought, a DSLR camera, a new computer program for video editing. I invested all this money into something that I wanted to get there. And I needed that money to acquire the things to help me get the tools to make it happen. Right. Got a microphone, webcam. So every now I take the money to invest in what I really want, not just to pay fucking bills. Like I gotta have a house, I gotta pay rent. Because I see so many fucking hard working good people that all they're literally doing is working to keep themselves afloat wherever they're at. And but missing out on the joys of life. And all, I have and they're hard workers. They're not lazy. They're just, if I don't work, I won't be able to pay my bills. And if I miss a day, I like it's no way to live. It's no way to live. And a lot of these people I know aren't shit with their money. Like they hoard their pennies, but in a good way, because in case they need it, not like Scrooge, who's a miser who has more than enough money, but always wanted more money and would never give it away and be generous with it. And I'm not saying be generous with your money. What you do with your money for you is you. I'm saying if your sole goal is the love of getting the money, whatever you're doing, it's over. It's lost all value. And I should have known that when I got into business with some friends. And I told them, like, this, my passion project was to open up an entertainment venue. I didn't give a fuck about the money that we didn't make, to be honest. What I cared about was it was just the atmosphere of it. And when you ask some of the other business partners, they were like, what do you want? I just want to make money. They didn't care. And since you don't care about something and your only purpose is to make money, like just like any job you're at, I hate my job, but I'm there and I make good money. So I balance it out. If I was doing something else, eventually will bring me the funds that I want, that I don't need to do that shit job and waste my time. And I get people have to do what they have to do. You got family, you got shit, you got priorities. I understand that. I really do. But I also know that you just gotta trust yourself more and do what you love more, and it'll come to you on how to make the money. Tons of people have figured it out. You just don't hear about it. You hear about the subliminal programmings of, hey, if you don't have money, you're a loser, you're a piece of shit. And if you don't have a house, you're a piece of shit. You're all pieces of shit. It's only in America, like the Western world. You just need to travel. Nobody cares. Like, most people understand the value of just having a family, some community to rely on. Take responsibility for your shit. The responsibilities you're responsible for are yours, so do them. If not, we'll kick you in the face. And oh god, I've seen it. I've had good friends who just told me, like, all I love is money. And it's like, you have the whole world in your hands and that's all you want. Why? All the stuff, the knickknacks, the stupid shit that you have but you never use, and I'm guilty of it too, man. I got stuff I've bought in the past that I just wanted to have as an option so I can have it, but I didn't need it. I had no use for it. I just like having it there. And I'm like that with the shit I collect, because I collect a ton of fucking like action figures and things. And sometimes I know I'm never going to have it on display anytime soon, but I just like knowing that I have it. It's an obsessive thing. It is. And don't get me wrong, I've suffered from my own obsessive compulsive disorder stuff for many a years, and I've been working on it. And everything can be reversed, if you've got that kind of issue. I think, at least. Experts will tell you no. Fuck experts. I've come to believe in this world that there's a lot of half-truths to things. Stuff that when you hear, there's truth to it, but it's also meant to be deceiving. And then there's other stuff, you gotta learn to read between those lines. Like, what's bullshit? What's truth? How much of it is nonsense? How much of it can you believe? Trust those instincts. I've always had instincts with a lot of things that told me that, like, don't fucking do it, Matt. And I did it, and it never usually turned out too well. And then there's other times my instincts were like, don't do it. I did it, and it turned out well. Is it a 50-50? Nah, I mean, I don't know. Could be a coin toss, but sorry, I took a Zyrtec, so I'm a little out of it. Fucking the chemtrails. You can say, oh, don't say any of that crazy stuff. The root of all evil is the love of money. If you love it, that's all you want. You think if you acquire a shit ton of it, your life's going to be okay. Nah, there's a price to pay for that. Don't get me wrong, man. Money gets you stuff. Money gets you the things you want, gets you that car that you always love to drive. At the end of the day, it goes, if you look at cars, they're all the fucking same. Oh, they are not all the same, Matt. That Ferrari is not a Honda Civic. Yeah, I understand that there's more elegance and some luxuries on the car, but they all have four wheels, most of them, and an engine. They stop, they go when you hit the gas. They're all the same. Some cost more than others. Some are well designed more than others, but you don't need certain cars. And when you start, I was looking at this. I was in the parking lot yesterday, and I saw a Chevy, two Ford Explorers, and the Chevy looked just like the Ford Explorer. They're all SUVs, like parked in a line. It was crazy. The two Ford Explorers, different years, but that model has always been kind of the same. They change a little shit to make you go, this is the new year. It's the same fucking thing they've been putting in the car for 10 goddamn years. They just slightly change the body a little bit and add some other weird shit to it. That's all they do, folks. And then there was a Chevy SUV on the end, and it's a very similar body to that. And I'm looking like, those are all the same fucking cars. One's a Chevy, one's a Ford. They're all the same SUVs based on similar stuff. What's that analogy? All Dalmatians are dogs, but not all dogs are Dalmatians. I guess that applies to cars. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say with that. The point is, I'm trying to say, you don't need as much as you think you do. Okay. And if you think $1 million is going to buy you out of the hole, my chances are you suck with money and it's going to be gone before you know what to do, because you're going to buy dumb shit with it. You're going to buy a boat or a fucking thing you're never going to use, and then it's going to be gone, instead of be like, you know what can I do with this money that'll help me become the best version of me, or how can I use this money to help people, Are you going to donate that money? No, you're going to be selfish with it. Of course. If I want $1 million, the first thing I'm not going to do is give half of it to charity. But I'm generous with what I have now. Yeah, my girlfriend yells at me all the time for how much I tip when we're out to eat, because I've been in the industry and I understand and I respect people that work hard like that, because it is a hard job when you work in a restaurant or you're tending bar. It's not easy for those who think it is. It's actually very demanding, and depending on where you work, and those who work there know what I mean. But I always tip very generously. I don't care. Even if I don't have a lot of money on me at the time, I don't care. I just give it. She's always like, in her mind, she keeps thinking like, why are you wasting that money? That's too much money. I'm like, you can't put a price on people's hard work, man. You can't. I deem that person doing a really good job, I will tip them according to how I want, and that's an individual basis. You do what you want. But for me, I give credit where credit's due, and that's okay. And I'm generous that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. And because I don't love money the way I used to, I don't care. But I do know that piece of paper that I pull out of my wallet and hand to that other person, that piece of paper allows that person for that day to get something that they need in their life, or they were working towards, or maybe just pay a bill, and that's a contribution to it. And if that's as little as I can do, or at least that's how I look at it, then so be it. I'll do it, because we're all in this world just biting shit, man. We really are. All the working classes, which is retarded. Anybody who has a job, everything's expensive and difficult. And those who do make money just tend to spend it on more shit. They'll pay $20,000. In Illinois, we have some of the worst property taxes known to man. On a house that is like 1,500 square feet in like 1,500, 1,600 square feet, maybe a quarter of an acre, maybe a third an acre. You're going to pay $12,000 in property taxes every year for that fucking house. Just to live there in a house that's, houses. I don't need a big home. Even if for some reason I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't buy a giant waste of space house. Like the space I would have would be well used, But the property taxes, just to rent from the government, $10,000 to $12,000 a year for that 1,500 square footer, maybe 1,800 square feet, maybe. And so what happens with that is, then you move to a different state and you can have a house 2 or 3 times as big, more land, and be paying like next to nothing in property taxes. Like move any other state next to Illinois, and its property taxes are dramatically different. But people want to live here for some reason. They're like, well, I guess it's worth living in this house in this wonderful suburb of Chicago, and I guess I'll pay $12,000 a year after the house is already paid. See, that's why I always had the argument. People are like, don't you want to buy and own a home? I'm like, maybe like 100 years ago was worth it, but not today. Unless you plan on living. And people are like, oh, no, Matt, you get equity in your house and you could take the equity out. I'm like, that's what they want you to do. They want you to take the equity out so you keep paying on the house so you can just turn it around and be like, well, I put siding on the house and I'm increasing the value. It is an investment if you plan on moving. I don't understand people who move unless you got to go where the money's at. I never have. I always looked at it like buy a house and plant your feet and then live life wherever that is. But, it's not that easy, man. It's complicated. It's complicated when you have to do things. My job requires me to. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's your choice. I'm saying for me that I just want to buy a house once and be there, and I don't care. If it's in Illinois, great. If it's not, fuck it. I don't care. You're always renting from the government anyway, folks. You never own that shit, ever. Your $10,000, your house can be paid off here in Illinois, and if you didn't pay your $10,000 in property taxes, boop, you're out. Bye-bye. Bank will take it, and they'll throw somebody else in there. Have someone pay rent or whatever. Doesn't matter. You're always going to be paying, always till the day you die. No matter what your retirement plan is, what your 401k looks like, your Roth IRA, your CDs, your stock market. You're fucked. You're fucked till the end of time. As long as you're alive and you're buying shit. So I've learned to just accept it, that I just don't love it. I have enough. And, I don't care. I honestly don't care. Something happens, yeah. My car breaks down. I can go get it fixed. I'm not like, oh my God. Do I have the best car in the world? No. But it's been fucking reliable for 12 years. And that's great. Modest means are not bad. And I think a lot of the times in this world, at least America, Western world, like if you live a modest life, people look down on you like, oh, this piece of shit. Why are they living in that tiny ass apartment? Why don't they get a house and just keep paying debt for the rest of their life? I'm like, do you hear how it sounds though? I mean, if you can, whatever, do it. I don't give a shit. If you can't, don't do it to impress anybody. You know what I mean? Don't get yourself in because I did. I got myself into financial trouble because I didn't know anything about credit cards and debts and percentages and all this shit. When I came out, they just throw it in there. And I'm like, I got to keep spending money to make people like me. Fuck that. You don't like me? Go fuck yourself. I don't care. Like, I don't. It's my life and I have to deal with all that shit. So I'll choose what I want to do. But everybody likes to point the finger at people and just be like, well, look at how that person's living. How can they live that way? I go, I don't know. They seem to be okay. They're calm, collected, pretty serene. I'm going to go hang out with them. They're much more pleasant to be around than you and your bullshit. That's why the love of money is the root of all evil. Don't love it. Do you need it? Of course, guys. We're way past the bartering system in humankind here. We can't go back. Maybe. But if the dollar crashes and we go to cryptocurrency, better watch yourselves. Because if we do go to that, don't let it happen. There should always be tangible money in this world. Always. But no, Matt, it'd be easier to just let the computer do it. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. You're handing over way too much power to people that you don't know who has the button to control that shit. The root The love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil. So, that's why I was trying to make the point of it being like, because everybody always said, growing up, you always heard money is the root of all evil. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just the love of it. Money, when used properly for yourself and your goals and ideas and things you want to accomplish in this world or invest or create or do something with, is a valuable tool to get you there. But it's not everything. And I don't value my life around money anymore. I got enough. And there was a time I had zero. And when you're at zero, it's hard to get out of that hole. It really is. And I've been there. And it's like it just sucks. But you get through it. You can. Let go of that money. The love of money. Let go of it. And if you let go of it, it comes to you somehow, man. I've been blessed in ways that it's hard to describe in words, but just know that it's possible if you just don't worry about it as much and don't take yourself too seriously with it, because you die in the end, man. And you ain't going to take that money with you to whatever world we disappear to, or if you just become, dust in the wind, then you wasted a lot of time, because right now is the best time. Right now, here, now is the time to be here and alive, man. It's wonderful. Look at this great shit. Okay, we have enough. We have enough. But that love of money it's taking people down. Some people learn the lesson, like Scrooge. He learned late, but he turned it around. So it's not hopeless if you're like that. You can turn it around. I turned it around. I used to love money. And I like money, dude. Because when you have it, it makes things easier to acquire. But when you got zero and you need to get gas in your car and you don't have it and you need to get to work, it's complicated. But when you have enough, when you have gas in your car, when you have the job, when your bills are paid, you don't need much more. You don't. You just don't. I live my life every day like I pretend like I have $1 million sitting in the bank right now. And I go, what would I do today if money was no option, right? Pretty much the same shit I do every day. I get up, I do my usual morning routine. I would read more. I would probably go to more antique stores and look up stuff. That'd probably be it. But really, it would just increase my hobbies a little bit more. Oh, man, that's retarded. You probably would go and buy a bunch of things like, yeah, I'd probably get a new car, but I wouldn't go buy a fucking Ferrari, to be honest. I don't need it. I don't want it. I just want a car that'll last me a decade without problems. Honestly, that's what I would do. Oh yeah, well you would go buy the fancy things. I got fancy things. I have 7 Armani suits in my closet from when I worked there. I don't wear any of them. And if you put them on and compare it to my JCPenney suit, unless you know, you don't know. And even if you did know, it doesn't matter. Wool is wool. I never understood that. I used to think like having fashion and everything was such a great thing. Now I realize how retarded it is. It really is. It's fucking stupid. Oh, but there's better quality pants. Yeah, that's right. If it wasn't made in the sweatshop in China, it was made in a sweatshop in Turkey. So it doesn't really matter. It's all cheap labored stuff. And cotton's cotton, folks. Wool's wool. It's not. There's a chip cotton. I'm like, yeah. There's only so much natural fibers and things that are built, and people act like it came out of a genie's ass with some of this stuff. and then it's priced ridiculously. Again, my suits, great. I can't wear any of them anymore because they don't fucking fit. Now I'm too small. Now all my suits are big and I've already had them tailored. So now I have worthless Armani suits for me because I can't even wear them because now they don't fit right. Now, yeah, so it doesn't matter. It's stupid. You know what's priceless? You know what money can't buy? Integrity. Money can't buy honesty. Money buys lies, sure. But honesty, your own open mind, and a willingness, those three things, money can't buy that shit. You can do that. And if you live honestly and truthfully, you can bypass all that evil. You don't even care about the money. And then money comes to you and you're not like, oh my God. You're just like, thank you. You become really grateful for it. I know I have. I totally fucking have, man. And it's not even like an abundance of things that it's like overwhelming. It's just enough. And enough for me is vastly better than it was for my life like 5 years ago. And it's just when you put things into a different perspective than how you used to see it, by talking to people, listening to your own life experiences, and you really start to realize what's truly important in this world. And it's not money. Nope. It's just a distraction from reality. So they can keep you chasing it to miss out on the inside, man. Your inside energies that you have, your soul, your power within you is so much greater. And the powers that be in this world know that. And they want to keep it snuffed out because if we were all connected with it, we wouldn't need money. What? That's a crazy idea, Matt. We would never need money. And that's your mind fucking with you when you think that. When you think that we don't, then you don't. But when you feel the fact that you don't, if we all could just connect with that inner energy on the inside, that's a topic for another live stream, I think. Inner energies and shit. But we can all learn from Ebenezer Scrooge, man. Scrooge. Because from the outside looking into Scrooge, it's miserable. You're not just alone, but you're so far away. And this is not a new concept. Obviously, Scrooge was written in what? Mid-late 1800s, right? They knew then that they could see where things were shifting as far as material things and how the world was going with the Industrial Revolution and shit. And you could just tell by writing about a story like that how this isn't the way to live, and people know it. People know it. Listen to that instinct voice, man. And people are like, well, if you listen to an instinct voice, what if it told me to kill you, Matt? I don't think kill me. It's not what I'm talking about. It's not what I'm talking about at all. Let go of the love of money and you're going to be okay. It's pretty much the gist of this whole thing. But if you like to donate to my channel, how can you do that, you bastard? Say you wanted to. Oh, yeah, I forget I even have it on here. There is a button to donate to my PayPal. PayPal.me/TWOYaga. If you want to support this channel, support what I do, legitimately support it. I give money to things that I deem worth giving money to, not just a charity organization. Like, it's a charity. Do you want to donate money? I'm like, no, I give money directly towards people because I want to sometimes. But it helps them get to a goal that is better, not even just for them, but just overall honest and authentic. I give a shout out to my friend Nelly, who does Nelly B the photog. He is a great photographer and does wonderful videos, and I will always recommend his business. Look him up because he is really, and I don't say that because I know him. I say that because his work is genuinely good. I will always, whatever you do, if you do good work, if you're a fucking photographer, a carpenter, a painter, or just anything, a banker, whatever you do, I will recommend you to people I know who need help in that area because you're good at it and you deserve recognition rather than just always corporate stuff, all these institutions that are bigger than the people that individuals are so much more powerful than they realize. And an individual who's really good at it, I will always support them as best as I can by either giving them my business or sending business their way. That's how you can help. It's how you can help defeat the people who just love money, like the corporations, like the McDonald's of this world. There's let's all be the same. McDonald's and Walmart on every corner. It's gross. I don't want every town to be the same. Yeah, and that's what money does. Just thinking about money makes everything ugly. Every fucking strip mall, every fucking shopping center, it all looks the same. My town that I grew up in was a quiet country town, very small. Now there's a whole corporate landscape, like it's like Target, Walmart, 500 different fucking places to eat, stupid shops, shopping, shop, consumerism. And then you go down the road to the next town, same shit. Walmart, Target, shop. It's ugly. It's the same. I don't want everything to be the same. I don't. And that's what money does. It makes everything bleh. Just bleh, bleh, the same. Fuck that. I like knowing different kinds of people and talking to individuals and looking into their eyes and seeing the world through their eyes, man. It's fun. It's really awesome. Because I don't love money anymore. But Matt, you're a liar if you say you don't love money. No, I don't love it. It's great. But it is not my main focus today. Makes life a little easier when you got a little bit and you don't have to worry about it. But everything I have, like right now, this exact moment, I'm fine. Don't let those invisible chains wear you down, man. If you really think about it, if everybody in this world just stopped, like if in theory, think of this hypothetically. If everybody just goes, no, I'm not going to pay for anything anymore, and we just stopped and we shut the whole thing down, what's anybody going to do? Like, oh my God. I know it's not going to happen. It's impossible. But, just think of the idea for a minute. Have fun with it. It's okay to have a little fun in your head. It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom, weird shit. Have some fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. I have a lot of fun today. Though I think I've always had fun in my life. That's kind of been my thing. And I accept the fact that I don't give a fuck. I just have a good time. It's going to be super serious. Everything's serious. So serious. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You're going to die one day. Everything in between, deal with it. You'll be all right. Don't love money. You're going to send yourself down an abyss of hell, and it's going to suck. I shouldn't say don't. I won't tell you what to do. But just know that the love of money, if that is your love, it's evil, and it's not good for you. You can argue with me if you want. But if you sit there and say, I need this, I'm like, you're selfish. And that's okay. Take your selfishness out of it. You'll be all right. So I think that's enough. Today's stream. Next week, same time, noonish. Maybe I'll switch to Thursdays. We have people watching on Thursdays. All right, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Give me all that good stuff. Share it on your social media pages. Help me out because I'm only one fella here, and it takes a lot of time to promote this shit on your own. And I don't even know if I want to promote it. It's just like I do it, and I don't ask. And I always forget, like, you can ask for help. It's like, so help me out. Or not. That's fine, too, because I'm still going to do it anyway because I like doing this shit, and I always have. I always do, and I always will, because until I don't like it anymore. If I ever get to the point where I don't like doing this stuff, I just won't do it. But I do. So, fuck it. Have a great day. Learn from Ebenezer Scrooge, guys. It's a great story. It's not just about Christmas either. It's really about a man reflecting on himself, past, present, and what his future could be. There's a lot of good messages in that book. A lot of good shit in that story. Dig deep into A Christmas Carol. Don't take yourself too seriously.